Yes, and welcome everybody here present for the Dutch for Women in Science Award ceremony 2022, I'm sorry. And of course also a warm welcome to everybody joining us via any screen. Nowadays it can be any screen, and a warm welcome for you all as well. And today we are celebrating the careers of female scientists with both the For Women in Science Fellowship as well as the Rising Talent Awards. And the organizing partners, of course, this is a joint venture, a powerful joint venture, is L'Oréal and UNESCO and the NIAS, the Netherlands Institute for Advanced Study in the Humanities and Social Sciences, and the KHMW, the Royal Holland Society of Sciences and Humanities, and LNVH, the Dutch Network for Women Professors. So that were long names. Happy that's out, that has come out. So my name is Fadoua, Alaoui, and I'm so happy to be with you here on this afternoon on this special occasion. And for the start of this afternoon, I would like, for this opening, I would like to introduce some guests here with me on stage. And that would be Louise Gunning-Schepers, Chair of Royal Holland Society of Sciences and Humanities. Welcome. And yes, next to you, Jean-Charles Bondy, Managing Director, CEO of the L'Oréal in the Netherlands. Welcome as well. And Kathleen Ferrier, Chair of the Dutch UNESCO Commission and expert in the field of development cooperation, human rights and diversity. It's so good to have you here with us. I'll give this one to
Thank you. Welcome.
And a special moment for a lot of people here present, but I think also for you. And we're at a very special place as well. And I was really curious, what could you tell us a little bit more about this place and the history of it?
Well, you're a guest here at the Royal Holland Society for Sciences and Humanities, one of these learned societies that were started at the time of the Enlightenment here in 1752, where people from academia and people from society come together to use science to improve society, and we still do that. And to help young scientists, the most important thing the Royal Society does is give awards in science. So we were very happy to partner with L'Oréal for the Women in Sciences Award. And this house that we're housed in is a very special house. It was built at the end of the 18th century by a young woman who at that time used her wealth to sustain her independence. She built this beautiful house and she lived there all her life, but she didn't marry, because at that time, if you married, your wealth went to your husband. So it's a special place.
It's a special place in many ways. And another thing, I was really wondering, L'Oréal and science. Please, what's the importance for L'Oréal to be part of the program for women in science? How did this come together?
Well, again, I'm like Louise, I'm going to make a bit of history. L'Oréal has 115 years of legacy and tradition. And from the very beginning, what made this company grow and somehow conquer the world was a belief that the cosmetic and personal care and beauty could make progress with science. So science has been indeed extremely important in the life of and the development of L'Oréal. And the second idea that was a big idea a long time ago was somehow women empowerment. You know, women empowerment first because now it's also for sure for men, but at the very beginning, most of the people buying our product were women. So it was a way to, empower them to give the best of themselves, and then empowerment became also professional empowerment, giving them a professional future, and it has been a long strategy of the company to promote women.
Yeah.
So women in science, and now it has developed together with it is all managed by the L'Oréal Fondation, and so it's around 170 billion euro dedicated by the shareholder to research and science, to inclusive beauty, so making sure that beauty is really genuinely inclusive, and fighting climate change. So this program is under the label of the L'Oréal Foundation.
Yeah, so it's actually a perfect combination, I would say.
Exactly.
Yes. And then I would like to know what UNESCO's goal is with this, with the program for women in science.
Yeah, actually, it was already said on that beautiful introductory movie that we watched. It was said the world needs science, and science needs women. We, as UNESCO, we are hugely happy with the partnership we have here, because certainly, just like also the Dutch network on women professors, we find it vitally important to raise the number of women in science and working in knowledge and being visible in the important task they have. So in this program, we can fully recognize our goals as UNESCO, which basically is creating peace in the minds of women and men. That is our global goal. And that's why it's so important to stimulate women to be visible in science. And that is why we're so happy with this program to stimulate young talent to go on, but also to stimulate women to stay in science, to not give up. Because what we often see is that women, after they get their PhD, sometimes they drop out. And we think science needs women. That's why we're so happy with this fellow program, that we can offer them as a stimulus.
Yeah, and why would it be so important then to put this spotlight on young female scientific talent?
Well, because I think we have lots of talent. And we know that for a scientific career, early recognition and visible recognition is important. And this allows us to put yet more talents in that spotlight and help them to move up, because I agree with Kathleen, we want them to stay in science. And sometimes here, we see people coming back. They will have been given an award when they do their master thesis, and then we suddenly see them back when we give PhD awards. So who knows? The young talents that we're going to honor today may come back at some point for the International for Women in Science Award as well.
That would
we hope
great.
so.
Yeah, that would be great. And well, it's already been, this is the 10th edition of this program in the Netherlands. And do you see any difference, actually, any change in how this topic is being supported now compared to the years before?
Well, for sure, the general topic of promoting women is much more advanced today than it used to be. I mean, we have to stay modest for sure. However, over the last 24 years, it's almost 4,000 women that have been supported thanks to UNESCO and thanks to the great partnership we have in all countries. Out of them, and it's also a message for the laureate for this year, 5 have made it to the Nobel Prize. Wow. So it's really a sign of, of value and recognition.
Yeah. And what would be the wishes for the future, if you look at the future that UNESCO holds in this regard?
Well, you know, I'm very idealistic, but I'm also very realistic. And I think that we need this effort and this cooperation, this partnership. Like what was said, a lot has been achieved in the past years, but we have still a long way to go. Because when we look at the necessary diversity and inclusion for our country, for our world, and when we specifically look at our country in the Netherlands, when it comes to gender diversity, the input of women at all levels, but certainly in science, it's terribly lacking behind. Actually, it's a shame. And so I'm idealistic, but I'm also realistic, and we from UNESCO, we hope to continue this partnership for many more years until we see that indeed women have the contribution they can and must have in science. Not because we want it, but the challenges we are facing as humankind are so huge that we need the input of women to find the solutions we need. And that is our mission.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with me. I think they deserve a warm applause. Yes. And now, if we didn't know the importance yet, now we certainly know how important it is. And we are arriving at the first award ceremony of the Rising Talent. And for that, I would like to invite i.s.m, Secretary, Natural Sciences of the Royal Holland Society of Sciences and Humanities. Welcome, Ad.
Thank you, Fadoua.
And yeah, we're also curious. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm the Secretary of Sciences of the KHMW, the Royal Society that was mentioned. And we are really delighted with the initiative of L'Oréal and the Netherlands Commission for UNESCO to encourage talented young female researchers in their pursuit of an academic research career. The KHMW was very pleased to engage with this initiative and accommodate the selection of nominations received for the Women in Science Rising Talent Prizes, because that's what we start with. Given the exceptional quality of nominations and the huge number of nominations, 119 in total, the jury really had a hard time selecting the prize. I'm representing the jury because 5 female professors spent a lot of time in going through all the nominations. And the jury was very much inspired by the abundance of up-and-coming talent among young female researchers in all corners of life and STEM sciences. With so much brilliance in the female research population, academia is definitely set to look very, very differently in the decades to come. All candidates show great promise for the future in pushing the boundaries of our current knowledge and creating a better world. That was a start, and now we come to the first, the honorable mentions. And I'd like to invite Ritma Shukla. Well, let me first do the nomination. One of the honorable mentions this year is awarded, that's what it reads here, to Ritma Shukla, PhD candidate at Utrecht University. Ritma has been a PhD candidate since 2019, and in this short time, her outstanding work has amounted to several notable publications, including 2 first author articles in very prestigious journals. Her article, Nature Communication, received wide press coverage, and an upcoming article could mean a quantum leap for antibiotics research. Ritma investigates the working mechanism of the antibiotic Dijkgraaf. This is the first new antibiotic identified in 30 years. And hailed as a game changer, the combat against drug-resistant bacteria, there was a general understanding of the mechanism of action of teichobactin, but somehow several questions remained unresolved. And Rhythm answered these questions to discover that teichobactin is using two rather than one strategy that makes it unusually potent in killing pathogens. And this, according to the jury, is a paradigm shift in antibiotics research. So the jury is convinced that Rhythm will continue to make breakthrough discoveries in structural biology, and with this award encourages her to follow her passion to do exciting science with high societal impact. Congratulations, Rhythm.
Warm applause for Shukla. Here. And you will receive some nice flowers. There you go. Beautiful flowers. Congratulations. Yes. Thank you.
So the second honorable mention goes to Carmen Maya Gilardoni, and she's a postdoc at the physics department of Groningen University. She investigates qubits, and those are the basic building blocks for quantum technology, and particularly she addresses optically addressable spins in 2D materials. And this fundamental work will have far-reaching consequences and may be at the base of many future applications, even beyond physics. Carmen received her PhD with cum laude distinction, already authored 5 publications, and gave 2 invited lectures. In 2020, she organized and chaired a virtual symposium on quantum mechanics. Her PhD supervisor describes her as a very smart, creative, skilled, self-learning person who has a talent for not only recognizing, but also sharpening the right physics questions, both in theory and in experiment. She's a top performer and masters the organizational, strategic, political, and socio-emotional aspects of academic work very, very well. The jury was impressed by her work too and expects to hear a lot more from her in the years to come. Well done, Carmen. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Carmen. There you go.
So the jury awarded the For Women in Science Rising Talent third prize to a scientist in the field of solar cell applications, Nga from Eindhoven University of Technology. Nga works on the synthesis and characterization of materials for solar cell applications, with a main focus on an upcoming class of solar cell materials, namely metal halide perovskites. After a master's degree with honor at Delft University, Nga started to work as a PhD student at the University of Potsdam, studying the influence of defects in these materials and how they influence stability. After receiving her degree magna cum laude over there in Potsdam, she chose Eindhoven to become a postdoctoral researcher to examine contact layers that could further improve the efficiency of these solar cells. In the meantime, she published 7 impactful papers and reviews, and another 12 as a co-author, testifying not only of a great productivity as a leading researcher, but also of her ability to contribute to teamwork. According to the jury, she's a very worthy recipient of this prize and a role model also for others, showing, as one of the nominators mentions, how commitment, passion, and competence are key to a successful career and academic achievements. Congratulations. Yeah.
Congratulations.
The jury has awarded the For Women in Science Rising Talent second prize to Sanne van Neerven. She is a PhD candidate at Amsterdam University Medical Center, and that prize is for her groundbreaking discoveries on how colon cancer develops. She focused her research on colorectal cancers, for which she developed an entirely new co-culture system based on the organoid technique. In other words, say, colons in a dish. And she discovered that the cancer cells not only compete with normal cells, but in fact push their neighbors into a differentiated state in which they no longer divide. She also carefully dissected how the cells do that. In 2021, this breathtaking set of innovative experiments was published in the top scientific journal Nature, with Sanne as sole first author. Sanne's nominators are really enthusiastic. For instance, a few quotations. She has been instrumental in the design of cell competition models and has revealed intriguing new cellular competition mechanisms. And also, Sanne is a true rising talent in our field, not only because of her academic skills, but also because of her dedication and passion for science, which is contagious. Sanne will now join the Gurdon Institute at the University of Cambridge as a postdoctoral fellow to continue work on stem cell research. And the jury is looking forward to her future discoveries and praises her for this highly deserved recognition. Congratulations, Sanne, and good luck in the UK.
Gefeliciteerd. Hartstikke goed. Ja. Thank you very much. And now we will come to the first prize winner.
Yeah.
Who will that be? Let's have a look at the winner of this year's Rising Talents.
Mijn naam is Linda Hassani en ik ben PhD-student bij de afdeling Interne Geneeskunde van het i.s.m in Rotterdam. Mijn onderzoek gaat over de link tussen migraine en hart- en vaatziekten. En hierbij nemen wij seksaspecten, diversiteitsaspecten en genderaspecten in acht. Migraine is een hersenziekte. Het is meer dan een gewone hoofdpijn, omdat het ook wordt gekenmerkt door bijvoorbeeld misselijkheid of overgevoeligheid voor licht en geluid. Migraine komt 3 keer vaker voor bij vrouwen dan bij mannen. Daarnaast is migraine een hele belangrijke risicofactor voor het ontwikkelen van hart- en vaatziekten. Dit is eigenlijk nog onvoldoende erkend en hier doe ik met name onderzoek naar. Het geweldige aan mijn onderzoek is dat ik op labniveau onderzoek doe, dus in het laboratorium. Dat heet ook wel basaal onderzoek, maar ook klinisch onderzoek doe met patiënten en epidemiologisch onderzoek met grote databases. Daarnaast voer ik op dit moment een maatschappelijk project uit waarbij ik de diversiteit van studiepopulaties in migrainestudies, maar ook in studies naar hart- en vaatziekten wil verbeteren. Zo zijn bijvoorbeeld etnische minderheden op dit moment ondervertegenwoordigd in veel studies. En door middel van dit project willen we eigenlijk de participatie van deze minderheden bevorderen. Hoewel we steeds meer vrouwelijke wetenschappers en vrouwelijke geneeskundestudenten zien, is het glazen plafond nog steeds niet doorbroken. En dat merk ik ook persoonlijk. Ik heb als vrouw toch altijd het gevoel dat ik iets harder moet werken dan anderen misschien. Zeker met een migratieachtergrond. Ik ben enorm dankbaar voor deze geweldige prijs. Het zal een goed opstapje zijn voor mijn toekomstige academische carrière als artsonderzoeker. Daarnaast hoop ik met deze prijs een stem te kunnen zijn voor vrouwelijke onderzoekers en vrouwelijke studenten. En het geld wil ik graag stoppen in ons maatschappelijk project om de diversiteit van studiepopulaties te bevorderen.
A warm applause for Linda El Hassani. Fantastic. Congratulations. Congratulations. What a wonderful prize. There you go. Thank you so much. And for now, you can give these beautiful things away again. Because Yeah, because we're going to enjoy a presentation of yours. And so, first, I'm sorry, first the Laureate, I'm so sorry. You were thinking, why?
So Linda, well, we heard it. You won the first prize. You obtained a bachelor degree in pharmacy and medicine and a research master degree in health sciences with a specialization in clinical epidemiology. In your research, which focuses on the pharmacology and cardiovascular aspect of migraine, what you just explained in the stream, you were able to integrate a broad academic background. And in order to understand how cardiovascular risk and related sex and gender aspects are associated with migraine, you conduct basic clinical and epidemiological research. You just heard about it. And you also talked about that societal project, the Change Project. And the jury was really impressed with that as well. In her short career, as the jury says, you managed to publish 14 papers, including 2 in the prestigious Lancet Neurology. Let me share just one quote with you from the recommendation letters. It says, Linda truly has a natural inclination for scientific research. This is not solely based on her outstanding academic achievements so far, but also on her personality, her work ethic, unstoppable energetic attitude, independence, and scientific vision. Well, given your outstanding achievement, it comes as no surprise that your talents have not gone unnoticed already. You received a range of awards and grants, including one from the International Headache Society. The jury is delighted to award the For Women in Science Rising Talent First Prize to you, Linda. We wish you all possible success in your future research career. Congratulations.
Thank you, i.s.m, thank you. And then now, we are very curious to hear your pitch of your research. So the floor is yours.
Thank you all for attending here. Also the people online, thank you all for being present during this special occasion. And respected jury, thank you so much for these kind words. I feel really, really honored to be given the opportunity to stand here and to present my work to you. So as you've heard during the video, I'm a PhD student at the i.s.m in Rotterdam, and I focus on migraine. And I think some things never change. This is me as a young child, and I used to like to play brain games or thinking games. And I think migraine is still an unsolved puzzle. So as you can see, some things never change. My focus is on the cardiovascular and pharmacological aspects of migraine. And this is really where my background in pharmacy, medicine, and clinical epidemiology come together. So what is migraine? I think you've all heard of it. Migraine is a headache disorder. It is characterized by really disabling headache attacks. And as you can see, more than 1 billion individuals worldwide suffer from this chronic disorder. And looking at this graph, and you can see in red, that's the prevalence among women, and the blue line is in men. Women are 3 times more often affected by this disease. So they are disproportionately affected by migraine. And especially women under the age of 50, which is also the age in which careers are established, in which women are of reproductive age. So you can imagine the impact of migraine on individual, on societal, and on economical level. Besides this direct burden, migraine is also associated with cardiovascular disease, such as stroke and heart infarction. And that means that migraine is a cardiovascular risk factor, so it's a risk factor to develop cardiovascular diseases. And that also shows that migraine is more than just a neurological disorder. It's a cardiovascular disorder, which means that the heart and the blood vessels are also involved. And one of the mechanisms that we think play a role here in the association between migraine and cardiovascular disease are neuropeptides. And neuropeptides are messenger molecules that are released by the brain and that can trigger a migraine attack. But these same neuropeptides are also important in cardiovascular health, in cardiovascular diseases. So what has my research up until now shown? Well, it seems that the association between migraine and cardiovascular diseases are not mediated through traditional risk factors, such as smoking and obesity. These are the well-known risk factors you all heard about. But it seems like non-traditional mechanisms, including these neuropeptides that I just mentioned, seem to play a very important role here. And that is actually where my research is about. And as you've seen, I'm conducting translational research, and that's really the most amazing part of my research because it really goes from bench to bedside. So I'm performing clinical studies, basic studies, epidemiological studies, and a societal project that I will elaborate on now. So an example of one of my basic studies is a study in which we isolate blood vessels from human hearts, and we mount it in the... I can see the pointer? No. I can mount it in a setup which you can see there, and then we can, for example, give drugs or specific compounds to see how these blood vessels react to these drugs. And I've also performed studies in mice to study the release of the neuropeptides from specific brain structures. My clinical studies really involve patients, and we use non-invasive techniques to study the release of neuropeptides and also the role of small blood vessels, because we think that's actually the link between migraine and cardiovascular disease. So, for example, here, you see this advanced laser technique to study the small blood vessels. And we use the underarm as a window to study it. And there you can see another technique. And in all these clinical studies, we incorporate female-specific disorders, such as high blood pressures that women develop during their pregnancy. So hypertension during pregnancy. And then my epidemiological studies. So an example, so epidemiological, that means that we study large data sets in large populations using advanced statistics. And an example of one of the studies is the so-called Serious study, in which we look at sex aspects, so differences between males and females, and gender aspects, everything in between in migraine. And actually, next week, I'm leaving to the Charité in Berlin to study the association between migraine, COVID-19, and cardiovascular disease, because we have a close collaboration with the researchers there. And then last but not least is the societal project. And we are trying to tackle two main problems here. So the first problem actually relates to study populations. As you can see, actually in reality they're quite homogeneous. Well, this is not what we want as researchers and scientists, right? We want a population that really reflects and mimics the overall study population. So with this project, we aim to increase diversity in studies and in study populations. And another problem we try to tackle is that data sharing is already occurring. We're already using our smartphones, and unconsciously we're donating so much data to big tech companies. While, for example, blood donation is a very conscious act. So, and there is, I think, a gray area in between. Perhaps we can use the data you're already donating to improve health. So this is another challenge we try to tackle with this interesting societal project. So this is an overview of my project, and once again, I really want to thank the jury for giving me this incredibly beautiful chance to stand here to present my work. As I told you, migraine is women are affected by migraine disproportionately, and migraine affects all genders, all ages, and everyone with whatever ethnic background one has. So thank you so much. And I think that everyone should be given the chance to every woman who has the ambition to conduct an academic career should be given all chances to do so. And I realize that I'm really, really fortunate to stand here. So I want to thank my colleagues at the i.s.m, Dr. Ruth van Lennep, who is also present here, my colleagues in Leiden, the Charité, all the patient organizations, and all the funding agencies. And a special thank to my academic mother, Professor Dr. Antoinette Maassen van den Brink, who is also present here, and without whom this would have never been possible. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. You know what I was thinking watching you doing your presentation? I was thinking, if you go back to when you were small, little, did you imagine yourself being a scientist?
Yes.
Yeah, who said that? Who's that? The father?
Yeah, no, it's my uncle.
Uncle.
Yeah.
Uncle.
Yeah.
So, yes.
It has always been my passion to figure things out, and I'm never satisfied. I always want more and reach more and go further. So this is one of my ambitions. Besides being a doctor, that was also my ambition since I was really small.
Yeah.
So yes.
Oh, how great!
So
what does it mean for you then to stand here and to receive?
Well, I still cannot realize it. It's
I can imagine.
I'm standing here, but it's and I'm really, really happy with this, and this will be a great stimulant for my future career.
What is your biggest dream?
Yeah, my biggest dream is to become a clinician specialized internal medicine, and to combine that with research. So actually the things I'm doing now, because science really has stolen my heart, to be honest. So I really want to continue that during my clinical work, and to stay in the field for sure. That's really my dream.
And okay, as a woman in science, how do you look at the position of women in science? Do you see any change nowadays?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest change maybe is that there's more awareness, and programs like this are the greatest way to improve that awareness. But I think we're still far from the ideal situation. The glass ceiling has not been broken yet. The number of female professors are still too low, although it's gradually increasing, but still not enough. So I think there's a lot to do there. Yeah, for sure.
And what do you see for yourself as your biggest challenge?
Not to take too many projects, I think. I really like my work, and I do it with all my heart and passion. So every new project that Antoinette comes up with, I'm like, yes, I want to do that. But then at one point you have to finish your thing. So, but I really hope that I can continue my research after my PhD, and hopefully really nice results will come out of it too. I want to improve actually the quality of life of migraine patients. So that's really, I really hope that I can contribute to that field.
Yeah, well, thank you, Linda, so much.
Thank
I
you.
think we all feel her energy, right? Yeah. So use your energy. Very good. Thank you. And of course, your flowers. Yeah. How great. How good is that when you're small, you're already realizing that is where I want to be. And then there you are. And the uncle nods like, yeah, well, that's how it goes. That's how she went.
I always thought that she would be a successful researcher.
You always believed in her. Oh, that's great. How good is that, Linda? Yeah, great. Good to hear. Now we have come to the award ceremony of the fellows. And we just saw 3 rising talents. And how wonderful is it that they can already connect with the fellows, and the fellows become mentors and for the rising talents, and give advice and tips and tricks. And besides, they can also have a peek at the NIAS, to see how it feels and not be there alone. So today's ceremony is also the start of that interaction. And for the ceremony of the fellowships, I would like to introduce Hildegard Schneider, Chair for Women in Science Fellowships jury, and Emeritus Professor in European Law at the Universities of Maastricht and Hasselt. Can I have a warm applause?
Thank you very much, Fadoua, and thank you very much also for this wonderful occasion, because I think to meet all these young scientists at such an occasion is just great. So, dear attendees, dear For Women in Science partners, dear fellow members of the jury, and of course, dear laureates and former laureates. I was told that rather many former laureates are either present or watching this occasion. So I'm very happy that this network of laureates and also these new talents are directly connected. So I think that is really an occasion. And it's wonderful today that we can speak here with a live occasion. I think we have missed that a lot, and even if I also would like to give a warm welcome to everybody who watched it from somewhere in the world, I still think it is so wonderful to see you all here and really to enjoy with you this ceremony. Now, for me, it's actually my first award ceremony as chair of the jury of the For Women in Science program. And it's immediately a festive one, because it was already mentioned, it's the 10th edition of these beautiful fellowships. And I'm very honored, of course, to be asked to fulfill this task. Before, I would, however, briefly like to commemorate the passing of Melanie Peters in the summer of 2021. The director of the Rathenau Institute and member of the Dutch UNESCO committee. She was actually, for the last years, the chair of the jury, and she left a big gap for all of us. I'm absolutely sure she would have loved being here. So may I just ask you for a short moment of silence to commemorate Melanie. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to turn back to the jury meeting that took place on March 21. And it was still in Zoom, not in real life. But it was a great pleasure to read and assess the various proposals and CVs of such talented women and scientists. For me, as the newcomer in this jury, I've been impressed by the very interesting and challenging proposals, the CVs of the candidates, but also, which was also mentioned, the letters who really supported the candidates. Because that's also very interesting to see how scientists, young scientists, are supported by others with whom they collaborated in the past. Although it was interesting to see this comparison of the different proposals, we quickly agreed that two of the candidates stood out already, and it was no long before we agreed on awarding the fellowships to the two applicants. Now, of course, you are all thinking, I will not leave you in suspense any longer and would like to announce the first laureate of the 2022 For Women in Science Scholarship. And I give the floor to you because the laureate, I will present Betty Times. But
yes, and let's have a look at a short film of
yes,
Betty
precisely.
Times, introduction film.
It's a special.
Ik ben Betty Times en ik ben een senior onderzoeker bij het Alzheimercentrum in Amsterdam. Ik doe onderzoek naar de allervroegste veranderingen in de hersenen bij de ziekte van Alzheimer. De ziekte van Alzheimer is een groot probleem. 1 op de 7 mensen ontwikkelt deze hersenaandoening. En op dit moment is er nog geen medicijn die de ziekte kan afremmen of kan genezen. Een van de obstakels in de zoektocht naar een medicijn is dat mensen enorm verschillen in de onderliggende oorzaken van de ziekte van Alzheimer. En met mijn onderzoek probeer ik die verschillen beter in kaart te brengen. En dit is belangrijk omdat we op deze manier een behandeling voor iedere patiënt op maat zouden kunnen ontwikkelen. Ik wil weten hoe de hersenen werken, want ik denk dat die kennis nodig is om geneesmiddelen te kunnen ontwikkelen tegen hersenziekten. Hersenziekten zijn vaak enorm complex en ook heel aangrijpend, want het verwoest de kern van wie je bent. En dat is niet alleen heel naar voor jezelf, maar ook voor de mensen die je lief hebt. Bij het NIAS ga ik heel precies het verloop van de ziekte van Alzheimer in kaart brengen voor individuele patiënten. En dit is de informatie die je nodig hebt voor een behandeling op maat voor iedere patiënt. Evenveel vrouwen als mannen promoveren tegenwoordig in de wetenschap. En toch gaat 80% van de prijzen naar mannen. En daarom is deze prijs zo belangrijk, want het bevestigt dat jouw werk ertoe doet.
Congratulations, Betty, for this award.
Ja, een applaus.
The jury sees in Betty an extremely innovative scientist that has really advanced the field with the development of molecular subtypes in Alzheimer's disease, as you have heard also in the film. Betty's work shows she has a continuous flow of novel ideas and is a creative thinker and, what is very important also, a translational researcher. Her support letters underlined her unique talent to link innovative scientific thinking to actual unmet gaps in patient care. Being a truly translational researcher, she always ensures that her research has clinical relevance. This is exemplified by Betty's discovery of molecular subtypes of Alzheimer's disease. Making use of the technological advances offered by proteomics, Betty applied innovative bioinformatic approaches resulting in the robust identification of 3 molecular subtypes, published in the high-impact journal Brain. Betty recently also has received an NVO, VD, and an Aspasia grant to further build on these discoveries. The jury therefore sees a researcher with a very strong CV who could really benefit from a NIAS kind of a fellowship to take the next steps in her career, using her time in Amsterdam to do bioinformatic analysis, to write papers and organize an interdisciplinary symposium on molecular heterogeneity of Alzheimer's disease. In particular, the jury liked the intention to bring together and link junior and more senior women scientists in her field during these workshops. And I think this is also a wonderful idea, that junior and senior, young and older and experienced researchers work together in this field. During these workshops also, insofar the younger generation of researchers can be inspired by Betty, but by the other researchers invited to furthering their own academic paths. In short, the jury is convinced that Betty Times will be an excellent ambassador for the For Women in Science program, and we all wish her all the luck and success during her stay at NIAS and in her future career. We sincerely hope that Betty will use and be inspired also by the interdisciplinary NIAS KNV community during her research stay. So, congratulations, Betty.
And another warm applause for Betty. Congratulations, congratulations. I'm actually short first reaction. I'm so curious, what did you think when you first heard that you won the award?
I was really happy. Yeah, this was exactly what I needed at this point in time.
Yeah.
Just this award gives me time to think about really complex things.
Yeah.
And my research life has become so hectic that sometimes it becomes impossible. So this is the best award ever.
Great. Wow, how great. Congratulations. And may I invite you afterwards to come and have a seat here, because later on we will be talking a little bit further. Shall I take that from you? Let me give it. We just give it back again. Exactly. There you go. So then I won't be here alone, so we're closely together here. And let's continue to the next
Yes, we
laureate.
shall now turn to the second laureate, Marion de Vos. The jury was impressed. Oh no, we need the film.
The film, yeah. But it's all right. Shall we do the film? We do the film first. There we go.
The film first.
Ik ben Marion de Vos. Ik ben verbonden aan de Universiteit van Groningen en de Groningen Institute of Evolutionary and Life Sciences. Ik onderzoek de bacteriën die leiden tot blaasontstekingen. En specifiek onderzoek ik hoe de interacties tussen deze bacteriën de evolutie van antibioticaresistentie beïnvloeden. Daarnaast onderzoek ik ook de bacteriën die leven in de blaas van gezonde mensen. Ik wilde eigenlijk heel graag begrijpen hoe bacteriële interacties de evolutie beïnvloeden. Want als we weten hoe bepaalde bacteriën een effect hebben op de groei van andere bacteriën, dan kunnen we potentieel de evolutie sturen. En dat is nog helemaal onbekend. En daarnaast is dat super relevant om dat te doen in een infectieziekte met antibioticaresistentie. En toen ik daarmee bezig ging, toen bleek eigenlijk dat perspectief nog helemaal niet zo werd toegepast op dit veld. Hoe verder ik ging onderzoeken, hoe meer open wegen er eigenlijk waren. En hoe verder we kwamen dat eigenlijk de ecologie en de evolutie van die bacteriën samen eigenlijk een rol spelen in het ontstaan en ontwikkelen van blaasontstekingen. En dat misschien daar ook de sleutel ligt voor nieuwe behandelingen. Mijn tijd aan het NIA zal ik besteden aan het opschrijven van manuscripten, aan het uitdenken van een toekomstige onderzoekslijn en het organiseren van workshops. Nou, als wetenschapper ben ik ook moeder. En ik merk de laatste tijd dat in het Nederlandse academische landschap er toch nog best wordt geprofileerd op het moeder zijn. En deze beurs stelt mij in staat om dat toch een beetje te doorbreken.
So, congratulations, Marion. The jury was impressed by both Marion's CV and her proposal. Marion takes a truly interdisciplinary perspective in realizing her ambition to apply insights in bacterial ecology and evolution to medical problems, such as the evolution of antibiotic resistance in urinary tract infections. Her aim is to better understand how competitive and cooperative bacterial interactions affect persistence of infections and the evolution of antibiotic resistance. To do so, she combines large-scale experience of competition and evolution of clinical bacterial isolates in semi-natural conditions with quantitative analysis of relevant parameters and modeling. Both her proposal and also the letters of support show she has already built a large international network of collaborators from diverse disciplines, including medical microbiology, microbial ecology, evolutionary biology, and biophysics. In her support letters, Marion was described as a rising star in the field of medical microbiology, ecology, and evolution. The jury can only agree. Marion's career path testifies of her independent mind and ambition. During her stay at NIAS, she will organize the International Laureate Workshop on Microbial Evolutionary Medicine and take the time to write, as she just said, manuscripts. And I think that's very important to have the time to do this. The jury liked the fact that Marion will spend a considerable amount of time to take a step back to further develop her research vision. And that was also mentioned by Betty. You need time and to take a step back. Time to reflect, write and discuss new projects with the full NIAS-KNV community. It will bolster her research and provide her an opportunity for obtaining a tenured professorship in the future. The jury is convinced that Marion will fully benefit from her time as NIAS-KNV scholar and that it will provide her with the necessary time and headspace to make the next steps in what is undoubtedly going to be a successful career. So, congratulations again to both of you. And I think it's a wonderful occasion also to say we have prizes for women, so we increase the 80% prize for men a bit. So we compensate slightly a bit, so at least you contribute to this. So congratulations.
Please have a stand on the stage. And also, of course, congratulations and thank you, Hildegard Schneider. Congratulations. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. And shall I take them again for you? Yeah. And have a seat next to Betty. And yeah, it must also for you be a wonderful idea to have more time to really focus. I see you looking like, oh, yes.
Yes, definitely, yes. I can fully, agree to what Betty just said.
Yeah, great. And we actually have a little surprise as well this afternoon. There was somebody really wanted to congratulate you guys. So he's right here.
Dear guests, dear laureates, the world needs science, science needs women. This is why also in the Netherlands we developed a For Women in Science program 10 years ago today. It's clear that there is no shortage of talented women in science. We can see that on this festive occasion. Unfortunately, women are still not equally represented on all steps of the academic ladder. Only a quarter of all professors in the Netherlands are women. It's my ambition as Minister for Education, Culture and Science to keep working towards equal representation, together with the academic sector. This is why I wholeheartedly support initiatives such as the For Women in Science program. On that note, I would like to congratulate today's laureates. Dr. Betty Tijms and Dr. Ingenieur Marion de Vos. I hope this fellowship will allow you to take your important research to the next level. Congratulations on this great achievement. And of course, we also have 3 Rising Talent Award winners. Linda Al-Hassani, Sanna van Neerve, and Na Fong. I hope this award will encourage you to continue your scientific careers, and I hope to see more of you. Congratulations. Thank you to all winners for being such role models in the life sciences. I wish you all a great celebration today, all the best in your future, and keep up the good work.
Yes. How great is that? And I would love to invite some more guests here on the stage. And those are former laureates. And I would like to invite Dr. Miriam Kafusi. She was a laureate in 2014. Please. And I give you the mic, and you can share. And next to you, I would like to invite Dr. Jorien Treur. She was laureate in 2021. Welcome, Jorien. Yeah, and so actually, you're at this moment in this special time, right?
Thank you. Yes, I'm there right now, so about halfway through at i.s. for 3 months now.
And how is it at i.s.? What can you tell them? What can they expect?
Well, expect inspiration and headspace and time to think. So I've really loved it, especially after COVID times, to be there in the nice historical building, which is amazing as well. And interactions with fellows from very different backgrounds, so sociology, philosophy, things that you would never normally come across, but can bring many new ideas. So so loving it.
So everything that is being said about it is true.
You will get it, yes.
Do get time. And Betty, if you have time, can you tell us how you would like to see your research evolve during the next 5 years?
Yeah, so after the fellowship, well, I hope that in the next 5 years, we can really show that perhaps some medications that already exist can be of benefit for subgroups of Alzheimer's patients. And it won't stop there. So there's many other disorders of the brain where we don't know what causes it. And so I want to kind of get into those areas as well and use these same techniques, because I think they really can teach us something about the origins of a disorder, which is what you need if you are developing a therapy.
And Marion, what would you say in your own experience? What do women in science need actually for their careers to flourish and to advance to higher levels?
Well, I think one thing was already said in the clip, was also that sometimes women just need to be heard, because sometimes they just need to be reinforced. Because it's not because we lack the ideas, it's just because our ideas are not really worth. And I think I think it's very important to have a very supportive research environment, and that we are able to build our networks, that we can support that network, but that the network supports us as well.
Yeah. And if you look back, Miriam, what would you consider for yourself an important milestone in your career since the receiving of the award? Or maybe there are many.
Yeah, there are actually more than one. I mean, there are multiple. And I'm happy that this L'Oréal UNESCO Fellowship was really a starting point for me back then. Maybe also, I didn't realize it back then, that how important it can be for your career.
So you didn't realize, so what was, can you mention something?
It really gives you visibility. And
right.
After that, I'm actually, our group was the first for Women in Science fellows from biomedical field. So it was the first time that the biomedical scientists there. It was 2014. Yeah. It was very new. Back then it wasn't in Amsterdam, it was in i.s.m, kind of in Wassenaar. Beautiful surroundings, beautiful area. And I really enjoyed it very much back then. And afterwards, if I want to look back now, it was followed by many achievements. Right after that, I got my WANI, multiple awards and grants from ZoneMW, Dutch Heart Foundation. I'm now a member of the Young Academy of the KNV, and I think it was really a start of many to come. Maybe you don't realize it, but it really gives visibility in the field, and you position yourself very well, like for your future achievements.
Yeah, so if you hear all of that from an experienced person, yes, Marion, what are you hoping for?
Well, all of that, of course.
But maybe something specifically?
For my field, what I hope to achieve in my field? Well, I hope to achieve, one thing that would be extremely cool if you would better be able to, I mentioned it also in the clip, if you would be able to steer the evolution of antibiotic resistance, to lower antibiotic resistance and come up with new treatments, so with new ways of diminishing infectious populations, that will help. That would be amazing.
And let's say on a more, personal level for yourself?
Personally, I hope this will give me the opportunity to contribute to more scientific as well as more societal discussions on the field of infectious diseases, also in all these social dynamics that are actually happening right now. Think of the COVID epidemics. Yeah. There's lots of that going on currently.
As well, yeah. And we talked lots of times about the role model for female researchers who are in the early stages of their career. How do you see such need even today in 2022?
It's ridiculous that we still need that.
Yeah,
it is. Women are half of our society, but we are severely underrepresented. Only 25% of the professors are women. Mm-hmm. And it's important that this number gets increased because you need to have visible role models for the younger researchers as well. Science is a tough thing to do. You get a lot of rejection, and I think women maybe get more rejections than they should get. And if you then not can identify with the people who are above you, I think that's also a reason why lots of women stop at one point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so and does it help, for example, because we earlier said that this is also the day where you connect with people who are maybe further, and maybe you can help others. Would that also help you?
Me personally?
Yeah, personally. For example, if you can talk about it with other people being in the same situation and...
Exactly, because that way you show also the younger people and also me that you don't have to be something different that you're not. Mm-hmm. So you don't need to behave like a male. You're okay as a woman, maybe even better.
Yes! And so I'm really curious, what tip would you give? Okay, you're a little bit ahead, and you're much further ahead. But if you compare yourself to where they're starting now, what tip would you give them?
Well, maybe I'm doing something similar, also organizing an interdisciplinary workshop, and you both are going across disciplines a bit. And for me, coming from a STEM field, that was very different because there are people from sociology, philosophy, writing books, journalists, and oftentimes I thought, well, this has nothing to do with my topic. How can I? It's interesting, but I cannot use it. And then many times, actually, there were insights there or things that I could use for my research. So really have an open mind, I guess, and use the lunches, which are very nice and free, hot lunches, is perfect, to talk to people and just stumble upon topics that might be inspiring.
Yeah. Very good tip. And what would you suggest, Miriam, as a tip if you look back?
How to use this time, probably.
Or maybe something you thought or you did do or didn't do, and maybe you think I would do that different.
Yeah, I think as you both mentioned, it's a great time to think about really, to reflect on your own research, what you've been doing and what you want to do afterwards. Like being in contact with different disciplines, especially if that it was the first year that we as biomedical scientists were there. At the beginning it seemed also a bit strange to us, but hearing all people's stories, it really brings you new ideas. It also helps to see how others deal with, with the challenges in their field. Some things are common across all the disciplines, and then it's really interesting to see how others deal with it. And it was very inspiring also, I have to say. It was really an inspiring period, and certainly I hope that the two of you enjoyed very much this year.
Yeah, well, that is good advice, I guess, for you. And I wish you all the best of luck and the energy that we felt today for your research, even at moments that you think and everybody says, no, that's not good, don't go there. And then you stick to that, and then you come with something. I'm looking forward. Thank you for being here with me on the stage. A warm applause for my guests. Thank you. Go ahead. Yeah. How wonderful to hear all these ideas and this energy of all these things who are there to discover. So herewith we've come to the end of this award ceremony, and I want to thank you all so much for being here and enjoying this afternoon with us, as well as for the people watching from their screen and being part from that side of this afternoon. Of course, I would like to invite everybody to stay here and have a drink with each other. We can, again, it's possible, so we really should and enjoy each other and get to know each other, and who knows, for further, even though you think maybe that person is not interesting, we just heard that, and talks are not interesting, and later on we think, wow, that was good. So I hope that for you, and have a good afternoon at home as well, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.